I'll edit that cough out. Jamie, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you for coming on. How's your week been?
Mate, it's been good, It's been good. I've had a few shows on Mamma Mia this
Mm,
week, which has been nice, some teaching and some other bits and bobs. It's been busy. It's been nice.
good. Sorry, I always forget to get a bit of paper out because every time when I do these, like invariably something happens, like a fire engine will go by, and I just write down little timestamps, like just edit that fire engine out. And I hadn't prepared. Yeah.
It's
So,
all good. It's all good.
Mamma Mia. So you dep on Mamma Mia. So
Mm.
what? One thing I wanted to know, because I do a lot of Amdram stuff, is we get two rehearsals before opening day.
Hmm.
And when I was talking to, I think I was talking to John Gregson when he came on. He's like, oh, he was. I think he had just started Clueless, and he's like, oh
Yep.
yeah, no, we get a couple of months of tech, we get a couple of runs, a couple of months of dress rehearsals and everything like that. And I was like, wow, man. So like the West End is, you obviously get a lot of rehearsal time, you obviously get a lot of prep, but if you dep on it, you obviously don't get any of that, and you've literally got to come
None
in
at all.
show what. So what was your prep for depping on Mamma Mia for the first time?
So I was sent the pad, the music,
Yeah.
and a show recording,
Okay.
and it was a case of okay, get comfortable with that, take your time with it, and then when you're ready, send me a text
Mm.
and we'll get you in to do the first show.
Okay.
So there was no sort of like deadline on that.
Okay.
And that doesn't always happen.
Right.
Sometimes it's like, hey, can you do the show in like next week?
Yeah.
Here's the pad,
Yeah.
go quick. But it was all right. Luckily, I mean, obviously it's ABBA, so it it's not a hard play.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like oh, okay, I've got to work all these pieces out and all that, like a more traditional musical. But
Mm.
there's still nuances in it
Yeah.
that you sort of at first look you take for granted. You're like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Mm.
And then you go in, you're like, oh no, like this
Oh, that
is
wasn't fine.
it's way more complicated than you thought.
Mm.
And obviously that's always the case. Even if you're like in a function band, you're playing pop tunes,
Yeah.
the easier the song sounds, actually the harder it is to recreate that authentic sound, So it was
Yeah. I mean, I think that it lulls you into a false sense of security. Like, oh yeah, I've done loads of ABBA stuff before. So yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, they do tend to be the ones that trip people up. Like, oh, this is just a 145. It's like, well, actually, there's that weird bar of six which you've forgotten about. It's like, oh yeah.
Yep, always,
So,
always.
so how long did you have with the pad before you went in for your first show?
I think I think I did a couple of weeks
Hmm.
on it just to get comfortable, 2 or 3 weeks. I think part of that was just from me being so eager to get in on the show as well.
Yeah.
It's so fun that I was like, the pad came across and I was like, right, get to work, let's go.
Yeah.
Um, Looked it over and then away we went, really. We did the first show. Obviously, you get a couple of notes and stuff and sort of refine it as you go, as the shows go on.
Hmm.
Just small little nuances, that the chair holder would do that either isn't notated or he's forgot to, oh, by the way, I'd sort of do it that way instead or
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff. So you refine that over time. I think, yeah, initially it was like 2 weeks
Okay. And how,
to look over things.
when you got those, like after your first show or first couple of shows, you started getting notes back. Did you get the notes back from the MD or from the chair holder, or both?
Both. Both.
And how did you deal with, like, I don't know, were you precious about the things that you were playing? Or if they were then saying, oh, actually, could you not do it like this, do it like this?
Not at all.
No,
Not
okay.
at all. And you can't be, because
Yeah.
for starters, it's not my show. So
Hmm.
my job is to be there and to emulate. So Terry's the chair holder. My job is to emulate Terry.
Yeah.
I need to sound exactly like him. Even on this chord, you're not actually strumming all 6 strings. You know what I mean? He's just hitting the top ones, or he's coming into this in a different way. All of those little nuances that
Yeah.
Terry does, I have to replicate.
Hmm.
So not precious at all. I'm there to create something that these guys have been doing for 25 years.
Yeah.
So any feedback they give, it's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. It's not my gig, so I can't be precious about it, if that makes sense.
Are you like that with most shows or gigs or anything else that you do in terms of feedback from writers or producers or MD?
Absolutely. It's because it's never, unless it's something I've written myself,
Hmm.
in which case, great. It's my baby, right? I have creative control here.
Yeah.
Unless it's that, it's not my song, in
Mm.
which case my job is to serve the song.
Yeah.
And it's never a personal thing. It's always, any note that comes is always to benefit the show, to benefit the song.
Hmm.
So you have to treat it as such. And you work together then as a team by being handed notes and things to make that better.
Yeah.
You know, you're just the vessel that comes through. So
Yeah.
if they want something changed, you've got to change it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's kind of the only attitude to have, but I think there are some people out there who, I don't know, they tend not to take and it's not even a criticism really, it's just a minor adjustment. They maybe take it personally. It's like, well, like you said, it's not about you.
I get it, and it's hard. I mean, it's especially when obviously music comes, it comes from you still. Obviously, you're still
Mm,
playing it. It's still you expressing yourself and being expressive. And that is so personal to the player that I
mm,
get it is hard to separate that. Oh, they're not actually criticizing me or my playing.
yeah.
They're criticizing, they just want how sonically it to change.
Mm,
So it's something I was always aware of, even like before I was like a professional musician. I was like, I'm here to serve something.
yeah.
So I can be as expressive as I like, but if someone wants something changed, it needs to change.
Yeah, absolutely. And was there anything like after your first show or first couple of shows, was there anything like massive that you had to change or any big adjustments, or was it just minor little tweaks?
I mean, it depends how you define massive. I mean, there was no like, oh, that was a wrong note, or like, oh, that was really off. There was nothing
Yeah.
like that. It was more like how I was voicing the chords.
Okay.
Say, you know, I'd go in, I'd watch Terry do it before I did my first show. So I'd sit in the pit and watch him do it live, and I could make notes and things in the pad too. And there's some things that you just miss, obviously, naturally on the
Mm,
first watch or whatever. But there's even details like, so on Lay All Your Love,
yeah.
I don't know if you know the film. It's Sophie, she's on the beach, and then I forget the guy's name, her romantic interest, and he's like trying to sway around and that sort of stuff, and she's this innocent girl. My line covers that vocal line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When the note was, when Sophie sings, you play it with no embellishment. You play it completely straight
Yeah.
because it's pure and that resembles her.
Yeah.
And then when the guy comes in, you start to embellish. And as the song progresses and progresses and progressive, eventually when all the guys are on stage and she's been won round to their thought process,
Mm,
her innocence has been swayed. So you show that then in that line by adding embellishments and playing with the whammy bar and being a little bit funny with it.
okay.
And that grows throughout the song. So it's notes like that, your performance notes,
Yeah. Yeah.
or don't play it on that string, play it on this string because it's marginally warmer and thicker and
Okay.
stuff like that, you know?
All right. How well written is the pad?
Beautifully. It's
Christ for that.
so good. It's it's one because I started on Amjams too, and
Mm,
occasionally we'll still do the odd one. That's always, it's like that. I don't know if you've seen that meme going around. It's like, oh, you're preparing for like £150 gig, and the song's this Mad Fusion thing. You're
yes.
preparing for like a pop thing, and it's the most simplest tune ever, you know? It's one of those that I go to an Amdram show, and you look at the pad, and you're like, oh no, like this is a mess. Like it's just dots everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you go and do something like Mamma Mia, and you're like, it's nicely laid out, and it's been well thought about, and all that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a budget and there's a team behind that, so it makes sense
Mm,
as to why it's been. But no, it's lovely.
that's good.
Yeah, I've been lucky. Every sort of West End show I've done, the pad's been clear and
Yeah.
easy to read, and it's been great.
Yeah, I remember the first one I did a couple of years ago was Grease, and Grease is quite a nice, easy read, and
Great play.
it was hopelessly devoted for you. When I got the pad, when I was looking at the dots for that, I'm like, well, I cannot for the life of me remember the chord progression, but it was something simple like E minor, D, G, F. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was looking at the voicings and how it's being played. I'm like, that is not how you can play it. That's fucking important. And I went to the MD. I was like, do you want me to play exactly what's written, or can I just follow the chord chart? He's like, just follow the chord chart. So I was like, and I was looking at it, I was like, who the fuck would write it like that? And someone just went,
It's piano players.
Piano players. That's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably his right hand. I was like, Jesus. I was like, oh, that makes more sense because, oh, right, I can see that now. And I remember when I was talking to somebody else who does a lot of shows, I think it was Adam Goldsmith. He was saying a lot of them, if they're really badly written, you just use it as a skeleton.
Absolutely.
And just
Absolutely.
because it's been bastardized from maybe 2 guitar parts and a piano part, and
Mm-hmm.
you've then got to interpret it. But I haven't had anything as bad as that. Like again, but
Yeah.
some
But
of
that's
them.
one of the first questions I'll always ask when I go in on a show from Deppin.
Mm,
Like, okay, where are we with the pad? Is this, like Adam said, like, is this a skeleton
mm,
that we're putting our spin on, or are we note for note?
yeah,
And I think that differentiation is really important from the offset to know, like, okay, I'm playing this exactly the same every night,
mm,
or can I put me into this show?
yeah.
There was a musical, a Tarantino musical.
Oh, nice.
Which, dude, it was insane. They took all of his films
Yeah.
and put all the tunes from the films and created this like overarching story.
Yeah.
And there were samurai swords, there was guns, there was fake
Nice.
blood, there was all this, proper Tarantino stuff. But it was real instruments. We were on stage, real amps, real sort of rock and roll kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, you got the odd like lead line, the odd chord and stuff, but it's rock and roll. Do your thing. And that was amazing, just to rock out and just rip over these tunes and put your spin on things. It was great. But if I hadn't known that, you then got to dissect this pad, and it's just an important question to ask from day one,
Yeah, that was something that took me a little bit of sort of getting used to, is because my assumption was going in as someone who was fresh doing shows was it has to be exactly as written, and
Yeah.
there is no deviation, and everybody's there sight reading it, and you have to obviously just play what's on the pad. And the more I do it, and the worse the pads are, it's like, okay, the more I'm kind of, all right, I can play around with
Yeah,
this. Like I did
absolutely.
Camp Rock a couple of weeks ago, and I think I was on guitar 2, and keys 2 was doing the guitar parts, and I'm there with like 8 bars of rest. I'm like, this is a chorus, so I should really be playing here. I'm like, what are the chords for this? And they're like, oh, it's this. I was like, why isn't it written down? Why isn't it here?
Yeah.
Why is the
Yeah,
keyboard
that's why
player
those
doing it?
band calls are so useful, right? In those
Yeah.
amdrams, because you really piece it together in that 12 hours you guys have got.
Not even that. 6.
Well, yeah,
So yeah, it's a bit of a headache, but good fun. It keeps you on your toes. But I think it's
it
really.
does.
This is the other thing I wanted to ask you as well. When you're doing these shows, how much of the cast do you have in your ears?
Depends on the show.
Okay.
Usually, like chorus lines and all that sort of stuff, I take them out.
Yeah.
Because it just becomes too much in the ears. Lead lines, I quite like having the lead vocalist. For me, it's if we're playing a song. Let's get back to Mamma Mia. Take Winner Takes It All.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional song.
Yeah.
It's very dynamic. It builds with Donna and then drops and all that. And obviously the band do that anyway. It's written in the pad. But sometimes the singer will be more in the pocket, let's say, be more emotional. And you can feel that in her voice.
Yeah.
I want to hear that, because if she's going somewhere and she's being emotional and she's really digging in, I want to feel that.
Yeah.
I want to play that, and that's come out through my playing. So as a whole, from the audience point of view, it makes them feel something. Otherwise, she's having this real emotional moment. She's in the pocket, and I'm just going, yeah, this is fine, just playing me 6 chords or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't line up. So I want to hear that, so I get that emotional connection as well. Not just on shows, but on, even if I'm backing other singers. I think it's so important for any musician to not just play the music, but emotionally connect with it, with what the singer's saying.
Yeah.
And then you portray that same emotion when you're playing to connect with that. And then the whole performance becomes so much more moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like I had I always have as much main cast vocals as I can in my ear, and I was chatting to people, particularly like the reed players, and they're like, "Oh no, I don't have any." I was like, "What? None? None?" I just thought it was interesting. I was like, well, maybe that's because the way I learned music, I learned from playing songs that I enjoyed, pop songs. Now,
Yeah.
I went off and played in original bands, and then you did function bands and cover bands, and following the vocal was just such a key part of my learning
Absolutely.
music. And then I was literally thinking it this morning, like I was making a tea. I was like, well, maybe it's because they learned classically and there was no vocals, so they had to follow the pads.
Quite possible.
They had to follow the dots, and there was no deviation. And if there was no singer that came in early or came in late or forgot the lyrics, and you have to kind of, whoa, okay, well, we're back then. There is none of that. You're just fucking there just playing. But then you're missing out on listening to stuff. Like you said, like if the singer misses a chorus or they come in early, it's like, well, I'm listening, I'm there and I'm on it. And if he comes in early or she comes in early, I can, whoop, okay, so we're just jumping, we're missing that bar.
That's it.
I'll follow
I mean,
you.
on a show, obviously, you can't just go with the singer. Like it runs like clockwork. You have to stay where you are on the pad.
Yeah.
But you're so right. Like on any sort of gig where it's not clicked, absolutely follow the singer all the way.
Yeah. So has that happened in Mamma Mia? Has somebody come in early or late vocally, and then you just have to like, no, I can't. I've got to stay on pad.
Not that I've done.
No, okay.
I mean, those guys rehearse day in day out. They're true pros, So it doesn't seem to happen. I mean, it has happened on other shows, but
okay.
And
what other shows have you done?
So I depped on that Tarantino
Yeah.
show that I mentioned. I depped on Bat Out Hell. That was awesome.
Nice.
What else have I done? Priscilla. That was
Okay.
fun. And then my longest run was the Cher musical.
Oh,
That was a
okay.
few years ago. Every time I mention that, they're like, "What Cher musical?" It seemed
Hmm.
to like slip under the rug,
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
I ended up doing like a chair share and ended up doing like a year and a half on that show,
Cool.
which was awesome. Again, like Mamma Mia, all sort of Cher's tunes, sort of
Yeah.
pop kind of stuff. But that was great. That was my
Mm.
first intro into like pro theatre.
Yeah.
Like yourself, I was doing Amdrams and things. But before that, I was touring and playing shows abroad
Mm.
with my first like big tour was with a magician out of Canada.
No way.
And he wanted a rock show put to
Yeah.
his magic act,
Cool.
which was just wild. Call
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. I think I was literally in the park with my fiance.
Mm.
Phone rings. It's like, "Hey, do you want to go to Saudi Arabia next week?" And I'm like,
Maybe.
"What?
Why?
Yeah, what? Fill me in. Hold on. This magician, he wants a rock band to go to his thing. He's got like a little residency out in Saudi. Do you want to come play guitar?" And I thought, yeah, that sounds great.
Mm.
That led to like bus tours across Canada and like fly dates and that sort of stuff, and proper like catering and big venues and that sort
Yeah.
of stuff, which was amazing. That was my first like, this is touring, this is great.
Yeah.
Then came back and joined the Share tour, and
Yeah.
UK touring is very different
Mm.
to outside of like, you got to arrange your own digs, you got to drive yourself to the venue, all that sort of stuff. So that complete contrast, I was like, whoa, what the hell is this? Like,
Yeah.
I've gone from catering to Tesco meal deals. Like, what's happening? Like,
That's a crash back to earth.
absolutely. It was
All
crazy.
right. Okay. And so how did you get into theatre? And I mean, how did you get that magician gig?
The magician. So I think I was like 14. Do you know Mark Cox? Bingo.
No.
Okay, guitar player, West End guy, does a lot of shows. He's amazing. My aunt had some connection with him somewhere.
Yeah.
We knew I wanted to be a guitar player. She connected me with him when I was like 14. And I sat in with him as like a work experience kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
on The Last Tango was the
Right.
show. He introduced me to like the theatre world and was like, here's how it works. Here's how we read music. Look, check these chords out. Here's how I approach this, and sort of gave me a real like masterclass as a mentor to being like, okay, you want to be a pro musician, you want to work in theatre, here's what I'm doing kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And then obviously you go through the normal route of school, uni, all that sort of stuff. Moved to London and I sat in on everything.
Yeah.
Dude, I kicked down every door. I was like, hey, I've just moved in. Can I come sit in on this, sit on this? I sat on every show to meet all the players. Not only as like an education for me, but to obviously meet people and network and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Met this guy, Chris George, who's an absolute legend and is a left-handed player like myself.
Okay.
So we really like hit it off straight away. And he just passed on my number. And just from that, it went
Just snowballed.
crazy. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And you mentioned college and uni and everything. So where did you learn music?
Like proper training, I went to the ACM in Guildford
Yeah.
for like uni.
Yeah.
But before that, I mean, I had private lessons for years back in Bristol, where I'm from. Just had
Yeah.
like one-to-one, once a week lessons. Went through the grades like, most people did. And then did music at A-level and that sort of stuff. And obviously just as my curiosity evolved, I'd then go to my teacher and be like, okay, what's this? And just absorb stuff and play in bands and learn and just be a sponge and just soak everything up from every possible place. Because you never know. For me, I'll learn something, I don't know, on a jazz gig and I think nothing of it. And then 2 years later, that lesson I learned on that jazz gig or something then gets reapplied in a different setting,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just absorb all of it at all times and
Okay.
go from there.
And what were your private lessons like? How old were you when you
They were
started?
awesome. I was 10 when I
Nice.
started, and they were great. It was just this guy teaching out of his garage. Mike Paul was his name. He's an amazing guy. And it was just half-hour lessons once a week, and it'd be like, okay, what do you want to work on? And it'd be like, oh, what do this? What learn this song? And for ages, it was just, I want to learn song after song after song, just pop tunes.
Yeah.
Huge Stereophonics fan.
Okay.
I learned the Just Enough Education to Perform album, like
Yeah.
start to finish, loads of Guns,
Yeah.
AC/DC, that kind of stuff. And then within that, he'd then dip in these little nuggets of information. Be like, oh, this solo on Highway to Hell, that's the pentatonic scale. Let's take a breath. Let me show you that on its own
Yeah.
so you understand it. and then he sort of dipped these little bits in, and as I got older, it then became, "I've just heard about the cage system.
What's
What
that?
is it? What is it?" And then that would be like the next like 3 lessons, of just like, "Okay, here we go,"
Yeah. Okay. And how did you enjoy? Like, what year did you go to the ACM?
Good question. I want to say 2016, 2017,
Okay. So you were
maybe around that
long
mark.
after me. How did you find it?
It was great.
Hmm.
I mean, from like, I think the age of 10, I wanted to be a guitar player.
Yeah.
My parents were very adamant. It was like, you're going to get a formal education first, go do your A levels, go study other stuff,
Hmm.
and then you can go do your thing. Which at the time I was like, this sucks. I'm doing
Yeah.
physics in A level. I mean, no one wants to do this. Um, but now I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Um, but then obviously uni comes around. And it was like, right, I'm going to go to the ACM, and that was my first step into like, I can learn what I want. I can be a musician here
Mm.
and throw myself into this. So I did. Every masterclass, every lesson, every workshop, I was going to all. Playing in different bands, playing for different people. I had my own band, which did well. And just, I absorbed everything. I lived and breathed it. And that was the first time I felt like I could properly do that
Yeah.
without the distraction of like, oh, I've got this physics exam coming up. I better
Mm.
study
Yeah.
particles.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, yeah, great, guitar, guitar, guitar. And that was insane. It's
Mm.
definitely, and I've heard other people say it as well about music uni. It's one of those, you get out what you put in,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
it's as good as you want it to be.
Yeah.
There's definitely guys that go and they're like, oh, I'm gonna make it famous at this. I'm gonna make it big, but then don't put any effort in.
Yeah.
And then complain because it didn't give them what they wanted.
Yes. There was
You got
no.
to go after it.
Yeah. After you come out your last day, you get your diploma. You walk out. It's like, well, where's the tour? Where's the record deal?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
That's
mean,
it.
I think colleges like that, and it was the same when I went. I went early 2000s, and I think there was a massive upsell in things like touring with artists and getting record deals. And I wasn't completely naive that I was expecting any of that when I dropped out, or when I dropped out, when I left and I graduated. But there were definitely people in there who were sort of swinging their dicks around, saying, "Oh no, yeah, when we leave, we're gonna get signed. We'll be on tour in November." I'm like, okay. Maybe you will,
Yeah,
maybe you won't. And I think even today, I mean, I've spoken at length with lots of people that have taught at these colleges and who teach at them. First of all, like the entry requirements today is so low that anyone could get in. But I did
yeah,
ask, I always ask, like, but like if you went today and you turned up to every lesson, you did it like you did every masterclass, you went through every tune, you learned everything, you got up and performed every week, you sat and did all the technical exercises and everything that was given to you, can you still come out with a half decent musical education? The answer is always yes, but you do kind of have to
absolutely.
fight for it a little.
Yes, I agree. I mean, uni, I think in any discipline is somewhat self-guided,
Yeah.
not just music. So those that in any subject want to go the distance and put the work in will come out successful.
Hmm.
And that's not just uni, that's anything. I think, I it might annoy people, but I think musicians are inherently lazy.
That's why we did this at 10 o'clock in the morning.
So I think it's one of those, just, yeah, you absolutely can get the education. It's a shame the barrier to entry has dropped in terms of like,
Hmm.
I had to audition and all that sort of stuff. I understand why they've done it, because obviously you've got so many other factors involved. Like music's been taken out of schools, so
Hmm.
you've got to get private education. So it then creates that argument of, does it become an elitist thing again, that people can afford the lessons,
Yeah.
become the musicians? So it's a whole separate argument. So I understand why, but I think there still should be at least some place, and I'm sure there is, but where it's like, no, you've got to audition for this. We're going hard.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's the way even I teach my students now.
Hmm.
Even if they're like, okay, I just want to learn songs for fun. I'm like, okay, we're going hard.
Hmm.
We're not half-assing this. Don't
Yeah.
half-ass anything.
Hmm.
Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there should be at least a certain level that everybody has to meet to attend a college. Whether it's, can you just busk through a simple chord chart, or can you improvise over this simple blues or something like that? Anything like that.
that's it. It creates it fair for everybody. Because I mean, I remember being in a music theory class, supposed to be an advanced music theory class,
Mm.
and there's guys in there going, what's the major scale?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is advanced theory, we're going over the major scale. Like, I think it sets a tone for everybody
Yeah.
as a barrier to
Yeah.
entry.
So, yeah, music theory was the one thing that I didn't think I would enjoy as much as I did, but when we started getting into it and we started like the very first teacher I had didn't really know a lot of theory, and he said, "Well, do you know what? I like the kind of naivety of it. I like not knowing." And he would sort of say things like, "If I find that I was to really understand it, maybe I wouldn't be as creative." And I was 17, so I'd be like, "Oh, right,
That
yeah,
old
of course,
chestnut, yeah, yeah.
definitely, yeah, I agree with that." And then when you start digging into it, it's like, "Oh, so that means that this little clump of chords will all work together in this key, but if I want to step outside of it, I can do this, and then I'm doing that, and that's why this works. That's why that Beatles song sounds so fucking good because they're
Mhm.
borrowing from this, and just made my life actually a lot more easier."
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's like I said, that old chestnut. If I learn
Mm,
theory, I'll lose my
I
creativity
know,
in my
yeah,
head.
yeah,
But it's when you learn to speak English, you learn language, you learn literature,
yeah,
you learn how to use the English language to be expressive,
mm,
and then you learn the rules of how to use a comma.
yeah,
You have to have both to be able to understand English, your language.
yeah,
And for me, that comes hand in hand with music.
mm,
Learning to play is to be expressive. Learning the theory is learning the quote unquote rules
mm.
so you understand how to be expressive.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I found it fascinating. I know a lot, and there were a lot of people who were complaining and moaning about it, but fuck them. Um, like even in class, it's like, oh, why have we got to learn this? It's like, well, there are people that do. So if you don't want to, just fuck off. Just go somewhere
Hmm.
else. Go do something else with your two
Absolutely.
hours. But yeah, I loved it, and I was really fortunate. I had Eric Roach as my theory teacher, who was just a fucking monster player and
Nice.
quite intimidating. But let's talk. You mentioned you have your own music school.
Mm,
So tell us about
yeah,
that.
so it's called Play Like a Pro.
Yeah,
The idea being that, like we just discussed, music universities are allowing anybody in, let's say.
yeah,
Private tuition is getting expensive.
hmm,
Yeah, I'll hold my hands up. I'm not cheap even for an hour.
yeah,
Music's not in schools anymore. And then obviously with things like YouTube, you've got the information out there, but it's so scattered, it's everywhere.
hmm,
So you can learn from any old YouTuber that's claiming to be successful in their field, but they're just playing out their bedroom and they've never actually gone out and gigged.
yeah,
And for me, I'm very much with anything. If you're going to learn something, you got to learn from someone who's doing it.
yeah,
If I wanted to be a plumber, I'd go contact a plumber and go teach me how to plumb. I'm not going to contact, someone that knows how a tap turns on. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
So I was like, okay, so that needs to be like the ethos. You're going to learn from me and down the line, other people that have out there and done it, professional musicians.
yeah,
And then we've got various different programs from beginner stuff on how to tune your guitar, how to get your first chords, etc. That goes all the way through on, okay, here's how we sight read.
hmm,
Here's how we approach being a professional musician. Here's how we improvise, etc. And you can choose your pathway through that with mentorship from me and guidance.
hmm,
Or if you're into just like I want to learn to improvise on its own, we've got individual sort of programs that guide people through that,
yeah,
which is amazing. It's been fun. It wasn't something I thought I was going to do.
hmm.
It kind of just like, okay, let's do it and give it a go. It kind of just fell into it kind of thing. But it's been really great. We've got a few thousand students now, which is really exciting. And
It's amazing.
it's
So
just
so is
nice
this is
to,
this is it an online? Is it like an
yeah,
online
sorry, I didn't even
course?
mention that. Online course, yeah. It's
Yeah,
all pre-filmed material. The lessons are pre-filmed.
yeah,
And then there's assessments, which then they can submit
mm,
and then I'll give feedback. So there's an open communication loop
okay,
because there's nothing worse than going to buy a course and you're on your own. You're going, well, I don't really know if that went in or not.
yeah,
They're buying it, and then in buying the course, they're then getting all the lessons, all the downloadable exercises, backing tracks, etc.,
yeah,
plus assessments and access to me with a feedback loop. So you're still gaining that teacher
hmm,
whilst having all of this educational material to
yeah.
support yourself through it.
I mean, I think online courses are great. I've bought a handful of them, and like with anything, you get out what you put in. But I think the one thing that I was always like missing is that feedback. And I think,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've done it as well when you get a phone call Thursday night, like, can you do a gig Friday? And you get sent the song, the set list. You're like, fuck, I only know about 30% of that. And
Yeah.
then you're just like, right,
I'm not
okay,
sleeping tonight. Here we go.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll boil up the coffee, but then you're on YouTube. Like, how do you play this song? Like, I haven't got time to sit there and transcribe it and work it out. Give me a
Yeah.
chord
It's great for
chart.
that. Absolutely.
But so like you said, nearly all the information is out there, but it's just getting that feedback. And if you don't ever get that, and you're 3 years down the line, it's like you're not playing that properly.
Absolutely.
That's not how you should do it. We actually, when we're doing this, we want to use the tips of our fingers because you're weakening it. Your fingers are all bent or anything like that. Your wrist is too bent. You're
Yeah.
wrong shoulder position. Then you've got to try and get out of that bad habit.
That's it. It's experience. That's what you're gaining from a mentor or a teacher. It's their experience, so you can accelerate your growth.
Yeah.
Because something that may have taken me a few years to work out for myself, I can just give that fix to a student like that,
Yeah.
and they've got it. So it accelerates that growth, and then that tailored them with a structured plan to be like, well, hold on, let's walk before we can run.
Yeah.
Let's learn our pentatonic scale. Let's take a look at some arpeggios. Let's build on this. Let's build. Rather than, and I mean, I still get caught in that rabbit hole of you're on YouTube looking for something, and the next thing you're looking at something way far off
How
in
did I
left
get
field,
here?
you know? Yeah. So it's like that mentorship, that feedback, that experience with a guided plan. Partner those two together. I mean, I've seen students just excel through these programs. It's been amazing. The feedback's insane. The kind words and some of the progression that we've seen students have is incredible, and that really makes me happy. You know,
Yeah.
there's my other half gets sick of it now. You know, I've just had this. You know, this
Yeah,
student
yeah.
just got in touch. Listen to this. This is what they've just sent me. It sounds amazing. You know, and
Yeah.
for me to have been even a small part on helping them achieve that is incredible.
That's great. How long did it take you to put it together?
It was definitely a good year of filming, like the base content,
Yeah.
and then God knows how many hours of laptop work to
Yeah.
like piece it together to build the actual infrastructure of the
Yeah.
school. We hard launched last September, so I'd say it was a good like year and a half in the
Mm.
build before that. And then even since September, we're still working, we're still tweaking.
Yeah.
I'm updating, I'm adding lessons all the time and filming new content. Because obviously as I learn, or as I've got this idea, I've not covered this yet.
Yeah.
Let's record it. Let's throw it into the school.
Yeah.
Or I've had a batch of students say, I'm quite struggling with this. Let's add that to the school.
Yeah.
It's always growing. It's always evolving. So it's never going to be finished.
Right.
It's always going to be hours and hours and hours of work. But it's fun.
It's great. I mean, I think I think we've spoken about like music education and things like that, private lessons being quite expensive, and I think the online platforms, again, there's just so many out there in terms of lessons and structures, and it's very difficult to kind of navigate your way through them. But I think the ones that survive will be the ones that offer some kind of feedback, are constantly updated, added and tweaked.
Yeah.
And almost like a sense of like some kind of community, like in short of going to a school and actually being face to face with a teacher, with other students, I think that's probably going to be the best substitute.
Absolutely. I mean, and even then, just like you said, a community, a place to share stories
Yeah.
is amazing. It's just throw a quick photo in the community. Look where I am today. This is sick. This is amazing. That one photo could inspire someone else to be like, you know what, I haven't practiced today. I'm going to go pick that up. Or, another student, hey, I'm struggling with this. And someone else gets involved and chats. And I think that community is key. Back in the day, like even before I started, guys used to go to music stores and they'd sit there all day and they'd hang out and they'd meet other players and they'd jam and hang out at music stores. And that doesn't happen as much because they're closing down. So there needs to be that sense of community where everyone grows together, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're also trying to do with the school is partner with stores, partner with guitar shows, all that sort of stuff, and then run masterclasses, run events where people can then get together and share this love for music and guitar, meet other players. Eventually, I want to bring in other guys that I've worked with, colleagues and stuff, so they can share their stories and give a space where people can learn and be inspired and, like you said, have that community, And then that keeps the guitar stores alive as well.
Yeah.
Which is where it all started.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I mean, I think I think that's definitely something that is of value to students, and I think it's great that you put it together. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your practice and getting better.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
What does your practice look like these days?
At the moment, I'm going to hold my hands up. Very guilty.
Mm,
Where it used to be, okay, I'm doing an hour every day
yeah,
or more at some point. Yeah, at some point, it was like uni. It was like 4 or 5 hours a day. At the moment, as jobs come in, I find it harder to find the time to sit down and practice. I don't think people admit that enough.
I admit it. I'll do
It's
it.
got
I'll say
crazy
it.
hard. It's got fast. I haven't practiced in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, but I try and sit down as often as possible. At the moment, I'm down a country rabbit hole.
Okay, nice.
I'm loving Brad Paisley, so
Yeah,
I'm
man.
trying to absorb his stuff, trying to get his licks under my fingers, and wrap my head around all that chicken picking stuff. So
Yeah.
that's my current focus
What Brad
when I
Paisley
do
stuff are
sit
you
down.
looking at?
I love, do you know Cluster Plug?
No.
It's like this instrumental tune. He's done that in like Time Warp, a couple of just like guitar, country. He rips for like 4 minutes,
Right.
and it's got like other guest country players on it. A goldmine for licks.
What was it called? What
Absolute
was it called?
goldmine.
Cluster?
Cluster.
Careful not to say that drunk.
That's it. But dude, it's insane. So I learned that recently. If I performed it at a few masterclasses as well. I set that as the challenge
Okay.
to be like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to practice this, and I'm going to perform that in masterclasses as like a show offy thing.
All right. Okay.
Um, but dude, it's sick. Just absorbing his licks, all that country stuff, and
Mm.
then taking that and then trying to apply some of that phrasing or some of those licks in different concepts
Mm.
over a blues, over jazz, something else,
Yeah.
which Josh Smith does really well. He's like a blues player, if you know him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can see his inspirations from everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to try to take all those little bits and absorb them into my own playing is
That's
kind of the goal
amazing.
right now.
Have you heard the Nervous Breakdown? That's another Brad Paisley one.
I don't think I have.
Oh, it's fucking hell. It's. I'm sure it's the same thing. It's just double time, 200 BPM,
Yeah, okay, yeah, same thing,
constant
yeah.
eighth notes. And I was listening to it and I was playing it. I was trying to get the intro lick down, and I got like 85% of it all down, like up to tempo. I was like, I'm really happy with this. We'll start having a look at the solo. And there was a couple of lines in it. I was like, it just sounds really. Let me check out the live version, and it's even quicker. I'm like,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
he's crazy.
Like, jeez, but it's. Yeah, I mean, I love the sound of that. I just, like you, I don't get enough time just to sit down and just shred it.
Mm. It is a challenge because my trouble is then when I do sit down, is I will forget to then stand up and leave. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
great, I've got a bit of time. I'll sit down. I'll just give myself like an hour, and then I'll crack on with the work I got to do.
yeah,
And the next thing I know, like 5 hours is gone. It's like, shit! Like I didn't know any of the work I did today because I've been
yeah,
practicing.
yeah,
Still a good use of time,
yeah, yeah.
but then when I do sit down, I forget to switch it off. You know, like because I mean, COVID was great for that.
Mm,
COVID, I went hard on practice,
yeah,
hard. I was like, this is the time, and I would sit down for hours, and I got really into Steve Vai.
okay,
Um, and it was just metronome work all day long. Just
yeah,
learn his licks, go through his tunes, and just shred that metronome.
yeah,
And it was great for technique. If I'm struggling to play something because it's too fast or whatever, I set this rule of like 5, and I use this with my students as well. I'll slow it down, obviously, with the metronome
yeah,
and play it, let's say 60 BPM for argument's sake. Play it at that, and if I play it perfectly 5 times,
yeah,
I increase the speed by 5 BPM.
okay,
If I mess it up, I got to play it 5 times again perfectly in a row
okay,
at that speed. And I don't progress until I've done it 5 times right.
okay.
And if this tune's at 120 BPM and I'm starting at 60,
Mm,
you can be there for a while, you
yeah,
know? And sometimes it was. But in the process, you're building that picking technique, that hand coordination, that speed, that discipline.
mm,
You're working on so many other things than just the lick.
yeah, yeah,
And then by the time you get to 120 BPM or whatever, you've nailed it. And
yeah,
everything else gets better as well. Your playing gets better. You're tighter. Your timing's better
yeah,
because you've been working with a click for so long. You know, it's
yeah, yeah.
good.
I remember doing some lessons with Martin Goulding, and he set me up on a really simple little scale run, and it was at 80. And I got it down like pretty quickly. And I was just sort of looking at the click, looking at him like, are we speeding this up? And we were there for about 15 minutes, just running it constantly. And
Hmm.
I don't know if I asked if we could speed it up, or if he mentioned it, but he's like, "No, we're not moving it up. We're staying at 80." I was like, "Okay, like how long for?" He's like, "I don't know, a couple of weeks." He's like, "Your third finger's still a little weak." I was like, "Oh, your middle finger's not quite as loud as the other two, like your first and fourth, or whatever it was." He said, "Yeah, slow it down." I'm like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah." We went like back down to 70, then up to 80, then back to 70. And then after about a week, 2 weeks of it, he went, "Right, put it up to 120." I went, "120?" He said, "Yeah." I was like, "We're not." He's like, "No, fuck it. We just go straight up to 120." He's like, once you get it down at those ridiculously slow speeds, then just bumping up the tempo it becomes easy." I was like, "What
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
whole like going up 10, going up?" He said, "Nah, it's a waste of time. Just go up, just bump it up 4. You want to bump it up." And he said, "Until the wheels start falling off." And that's obviously where
Yeah.
and then bring it
Yeah,
down a little
yeah.
bit, and that's where you're gonna sit. And yeah, that was kind of like revolutionary. And then I started doing that with my students. Like, no, we're gonna stick, like we're gonna crush it at
Yeah.
ridiculously slow speeds, because then, and I found that like you mentioned, if you have to work on something, rather than taking it up in small increments, like huge jumps, and then fine tuning that until like, okay, this is kind of where I'm at,
Mhm. Yeah, it
works.
puts you under the microscope, right? Like, it really works on everything. It's a great
Yeah.
thing. And but then trying to get that message across to a younger student sometimes is impossible, you know?
Yeah, like some we've mentioned like YouTube, and like I think there's a couple of really good teachers like Justin and Marty Schwartz. I think they've done great
Yeah, yeah.
great things on, and Andy Guitar, great things on YouTube. But like we've touched on, there is a lot of shit out there, and there is a lot of selling like overly fast technical exercises to people.
Mhm.
Like maybe it's for maybe it's for some people, but it's not for everybody. But in an increasing amount of students, 13, 14-year-olds coming in like, "I've seen this thing, like I want to do like these John Petrucci lines." It's like, well, you're still struggling to vamp an A minor chord. So like do you have private students as well?
Yeah, a couple.
So
Yeah.
how do you deal with that kind of like, you're seeing something that's like peak guitar playing, but also the student is struggling to play Brown Eyed Girl? Like how do you make sure that both lessons are kind of catered for?
I'll either split the lesson in half or be like, "Okay, right, we're gonna do this for a bit, but then
Yeah.
you're gonna humor me and we're gonna do something I want to work on."
Yeah.
And it depends on the student because obviously some kids are more sensitive than others. I've got this one kid he is great. I've got a really nice relationship with him. He and his mum told me this from lesson one. She was like, "I'm bringing you in. I want you to humble him."
Okay.
And I was like, "Okay, like, you
We can
sure?"
do
And he was
that.
like, she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, like, we're for sure." He's really great, but then like some of those fundamentals are lacked where he's just blazed over them.
Yeah.
And I will go, "Okay, right. You can do that speed picking stuff. That's great. You will do that for 1% of your career. The
Yeah.
rest of it is playing chords.
Yeah.
The devil is in the details. Play the simple stuff really, really well. That's where your money is, you know?"
Yeah.
So you'd put on a tune, or I'll bring up a pad and I go, "Okay, great. Play this for me. Go."
Mm.
And he'll go, "Okay." And you give it a go. And he's, yeah, amazing kid. And I go, "Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, great. It was all right. Can be better. What can we change?
Mm.
Work on it again." And I'll sort of do it that way. And I go, "Okay, great. Yeah, good. It can be better. Work on it again," you know? And I
Yeah.
think, and then go, "Okay, great. Let's take a break. Let's go back and let's humor you again. Let's go do your fast put stuff. That's fun. Let's keep it engaging. Let's keep that
Yeah.
inspiration there. And then let's put some work in
Yeah.
where it needs to go." You know, I think that's how I like to split it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so difficult, and I mentioned this quite a lot, that it's very easy to sell those kind of videos and courses of speed picking, shredding up and down major scales or modes and anything like that. But there are very few videos like, this is how to play in time. This is how
Hmm.
we groove. This is how we sit in a pocket.
Yep.
Because I actually had a student come and do a sit-in last week with me, and he's at that stage, like he's definitely not like shredding stuff. But when I listen to him pick up the guitar, and he's like, if I'm getting stuff ready for the lesson, I'm always listening to what he's playing, and he's trying eruption, or he's trying like scale stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but maybe if he comes into a sit-in and listens to a 3-hour show, and when we finished, I was like, how many solos did I do? He
Yeah.
was like, I said, there was none. There was like 3 licks that I did. Everything else was chords. There was textures. There was little simple melody lines. And it's
Hmm.
like, that's the bulk of what you do. But we spend
Which
a
weirdly, like,
a huge chunk of time practicing the other stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I was the same way. You know what I mean? I'm sure you were. Like, as a kid, you want to play like Van Halen.
Mm.
But then it's as I got older and then I think saw stuff from a pit perspective or pro or whatever, you then find those details in, we're playing 4 chords, but you're playing more than 4 chords. You're not just playing open chords.
Yeah.
You're creating movement in that harmony. That's now more interesting. How am I doing that? How can I make the simplest thing interesting and fun?
Yeah.
You know, that's then, like you're saying, where I think as a young student, guilty myself, you look over that.
Mm.
And I think that then comes after time, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever struggle with rhythm when you were first learning?
Counting it, yes.
Okay. Feeling it?
Awful. Feeling it, no.
Okay. So go on.
I've been lucky. I've always had feel.
Okay.
That's a big statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel very lucky. That's a big statement. I love music. As a kid, I always had headphones in.
Mm-hmm.
So recreating the vibe or the feel of a track to me came naturally because I spent so long just learning tunes and trying to replicate the album. What I struggled with was then someone puts a rhythm in front of me and go, "Can you play that rhythm?" And I go, "Oh, shit."
Yeah.
You know, or can you clap me 4 quavers and then a semi-quaver sort of thing or whatever? And I'm like, what?
Mm.
It was that, I suppose, theoretical side of it and the reading side of it sort of together.
Yeah.
That then I was like, oh, this is tough. And I remember doing an Amdram whilst I was in sixth form. I think we did Grease and we did Our House.
Okay.
And I remember on various things of those looking at the drummer and being like, dude, can you just give me that rhythm quick? So, and then as soon as he plays it, I'm like, oh yeah, that, yeah, great.
Yeah.
You know? So I struggled with that. But I mean, admittedly, it wasn't until, I'm going to really out myself now, it wasn't until COVID that I really sat down and learned to read music and read rhythm and do it all properly.
Okay.
I was either blagging it or getting by up until that point.
Okay.
I was doing like, you know, the odd panto and that sort of stuff and sort of getting through and spending way too long prepping this panto that it should have been quicker and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And then COVID hit, obviously doing all this practice, all this Steve Vai stuff, all that sort of technique stuff. And I remember saying to my fiance, I was like, when this all lifts, I need this to take off. I need to be doing the big jobs that I want to do, that I got into this for. And we sat down and we had a long chat over it. And she's like, okay, what are they doing that you're not doing? What's the jobs that you want to do? And it was like, I want to do studio work. I want to work on the West End. I want to back artists. And it was like, okay, what was the underlying thing for all of that? It was like a lot of the time they could read.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really good at just like, oh, this, done it.
Yeah.
Whether that's a rhythm thing or whether that's reading or all that, they could do it. So that became part of the practice over COVID.
All
An
right.
hour a day. Let's teach myself to sight read. Let's teach myself how to count rhythms.
Yeah.
Let's sit. There's a great app, Read Rhythm,
Okay.
where it just gives you random rhythms and you just tap along to it on your phone.
Okay.
And it tells you how off you are.
Right.
Incredible.
All right.
Like
What was it called?
Tap, tap, tap. Read Rhythm. Phenomenal app. So it just random rhythms. You can make it progressively harder and introduce different rhythms, obviously, as you got through the levels.
Yeah.
And it will just give you random generation after generation of rhythm.
Okay.
And you sit and tap and tap and tap and tap. That paired that with then teaching myself to sight read. As soon as COVID finished, I was like, right, okay,
I'm ready to rip.
we're going to do it.
And what
So
did
I
you? What did
auditioned for
you?
a cruise ship.
Oh, right. Okay. I was going to
I was
ask,
like, I'm
what
gonna
did
do
you
a
use to level up your sight reading?
There's a book. I think it's How to Sight Read on Guitar. I think it is that.
Okay.
I may be getting the title wrong. There's a book.
I
think Adam Goldsmith recommended it, actually.
I think I have it. I remember I bought one. I'm sure it was called How to Sight Read on Guitar, and I was looking at it, and it was just, it wasn't pieces. It was just like small etudes, but in like atonal keys. It was like so many sharps and flats, and I took it along. I was having some lessons with Pete Callard, and he looked at me and he went, "I wouldn't use that. You should. Let's start with like the real book. Read the real book and read show pads." I'm sure it was. I'll see if I can find it.
I'm trying to think what mine's called now. I think it's by Dan Harford. I want to say it's called.
It's not coming. It's not jumping straight out of me. But yeah, and I used the Belson book, the rhythm reading, modern rhythm text. I think it's called.
Reading in 4/4 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Which I find that, like, even just the first 2 pages was enough to just sharpen my rhythm reading.
And it makes everything else better in your playing, right? You just
Yeah,
become more aware of it.
yeah,
It's great.
yeah. There was something else I was gonna ask, but I forgot to write it down. So what's your approach, your take on getting better these days? How's it
You
changed over
always
the
have to.
years?
For me, it was. I mean, obviously, the learning curve with anything is so steep when you first start,
Mm,
and after a while, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller what you learn, right?
yeah,
Because you've done such the bulk of the learning. For me, as long as you can improve by 1% every day,
yeah,
which is really achievable,
mhm,
come the end of the year, you're 365% better.
yeah,
And that could be the smallest thing by, okay, let's improve the timing, or let's improve, if I'm working with an MD, let's improve how well I can get his one when he goes and down,
yeah, okay,
you know?
yeah,
Small little details like that, or when he's fading, or when he's pulling things off and giving direction, how well I interact with the MD and follow
mm,
their work. Stuff that's not necessarily playing, but musicianship.
yeah,
How well I can, or how quickly I can dissect a pad,
yeah,
how quickly I can prepare for a show. Because as you get busier, obviously, it's like, okay, I need to do this
mhm,
quicker. And then how well I can dial in a tone,
mm,
how well my feel is, how melodic and intentional I can be in my solo.
yeah,
It's those things, those musicality things is like my current focus, I think.
yeah. I think
But how to be
that's
sophisticated, you know?
yes, like, I think, like, you mentioned it earlier, like, playing the simple stuff really well is kind of the goal.
Yeah,
Well, it certainly is for me,
that's
like,
it.
today, like, I'm not overly interested. I don't know, we talked about learning Brad Paisley pieces, but, like, just getting, like, getting a good tone and making a good sound, and yeah, that interaction with the MD. Like, how do you practice interacting with an MD? Do you just sort of think, right, this tune here, or do you, I'm not even going to answer for you. That'd be ridiculous. You can answer it.
Well, I got lucky when I did the Cher musical. I was given the MD cam,
Yeah.
like a recording of it.
Okay.
So that was a great practice in preparation for that first pro musical. And every time, because obviously the track's the same, I could go back and rewatch it again and go, where is his down? And really connect with that MD
Mm.
before I even went and did the show. So that in itself was amazing. Now it's being able to, especially when you dep, every MD will phrase their directions differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some will give a very hard, there's your one,
Yeah.
and it's on the tip of the point of the finger.
Yeah.
Boom, there it is. Easy to follow.
Yeah.
Whereas others are a little bit more floaty. There it is. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, what's that compared to that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's being aware, it's being hyper aware. It's, if you're unsure, asking before, like, the tune Mamma Mia in Mamma Mia,
Yeah.
there's no counting. It's just go. Dun, 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 dun,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Okay.
And that was one of the first questions on the first show. I was like, okay, we're very on the nose on that. I was like, what are you going to give me specifically?
Mm.
Then, so I know what I need to look out for. And then every time we do it, then it's just, let's get that better. Let's get that tighter. Let's get that tighter. And it is just wait, go. And that's all you get.
Are you in straight
Everyone's,
straight at the top?
yeah, straight away with that bum, 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 bum,
Okay.
on just go.
Wow.
No counting, nothing.
Was that like a squeaky bum moment? First time?
Yes,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. That, and there's some other little bits that are exposed, which I still hate. If in any show, if I'm exposed and he's like, oh, it's just little old me playing, you know, you're like, don't mess this up, you know. But all of that sort of stuff, or like a fade, or if there's like a hold section and you're waiting for the MD to bring in that final chord, it's watching, because sometimes, and I've done it, everyone does it. They'll move, and I'll take that move as the go.
Yeah.
And it's not, they're just adjusting themselves. And you go, oh, shit, no.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just all the time watching what they're going to do. Is that not? Is it? Yes. Oh, maybe. Go. And then from experience, you just get used to it, I think.
Yeah. I think working with lots of different MDs, it's like working with different musicians. Like, everyone has their little way of doing things
Mm.
and trying to get used to it. Like the MD we used, like you mentioned, it had a very floaty one. And
Yeah.
the person that did it, I was working with a couple of weeks ago, again, was very, very deliberate. It's like, I can follow that.
Mhm.
That's very easy. But the last MD I worked with didn't do, I don't know how they do it in the on the West End that you're used to it, but vamps, just a hand up like this for a vamp.
Interesting. Okay, usually it's like a
Or a
hold.
hold like some kind of
Yeah,
hand
yeah, and
thing,
then
like we're vamping and
yeah.
out. She didn't do any of that. She just counted, and I'm like, oh, is this
Ooh.
are we in the vamp? Is this? And then she'd be like, 2, 3, 4. Are we? Is that the fuck? Where are we? And so like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then like we said, like for the vamp, what are you doing? How are you? And she said, oh, well, I'll just count you out of it. I was like, okay, could you also lead us into it so that we? And yeah, it was like just getting used to how people do things is like that. That was just like a huge learning experience. Like day one, reading doing pit work,
Yeah.
following the MD, and also like tempo changes. I wasn't used to tempo changes. I was listening to a song and I'm counting, going 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm well ahead. Why am I so far ahead? It's like, no, we just slow that down.
Yeah, you've
I
always got
was
to be
like,
watching. It's something that you can't teach. It comes from experience, I think.
yeah,
And that's what makes it so tough, but I do appreciate an MD that makes everything idiot proof.
yes,
Because when you've got the stress of using someone else's gear,
mm,
you're reading a show that you've not necessarily played before in a theatre of a few thousand people, you've all got the pressure then of like, don't fuck this up.
yeah,
Someone's trusted you for this job. And then following the MD when you're constantly hands, everything. You're looking everywhere all the time.
yeah,
An MD that just makes it idiot proof is just something to be like, oh, they've got me.
yeah,
I'm safe.
yeah,
It's nice.
yeah. It's yeah, that's again that's kind of like a thing that I wasn't expecting to be that difficult.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, that was massive, and just following the pad as well, with all the rests, all the stops, all the repeats, all the vamps, all the signs, all of that shit. When I had my student do a sit-in, I was like, this is like, I was like, try and follow along. I'll kind of point out when we're moving, but it's like it's not easy, and it's kind of the thing that
Mm.
everybody brushes over with sight reading. It's like, oh, just the direct. But if you don't know the direction, you're fucked. It doesn't matter if you can read or not.
Yeah.
If you can't
I
follow that
still like
repeat
to,
dot, it's like I'm still
yeah.
putting like a luminous yellow pen. Repeat back to here. It's like, because
Yeah, 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 yeah,
when
yeah.
when you're playing the show, it's like repeat. Where the fuck am I repeating to? Where's the thing? I've missed it. I'm out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know if you do it as well, but even if you've got a long multi-bar rest,
Mm.
it happens. We're human. You can miscount that,
Oh,
or
mate,
someone can
yeah.
just take your attention. You come back and you go, "Oh shit,
Where
what
am I?
bar are we on?"
Yeah.
I always like to, if I can, I will idiot-proof my pad as well, and I know this vocal
Yeah.
cue is here to pull me out. So if I am lost, I go, "Shit, okay, just listen for that vocal cue." Okay, we're
Yeah.
back in. I know where I am.
Yeah.
I idiot-proof everything.
Yeah. I do that again. That's why I love having cast vocals, because I can't remember the show. There was one show that I had to do that page one. It was like 64 bars of rest, but I'm
Yeah,
playing
you're not counting that,
but
Yeah,
I'm in at the top, like the first 4 bars, and then I'm out, and I'm like, fucking hell. It's like, I'm not counting that. And then, yeah,
yeah,
I just write in a vocal cue. It's like, okay, well, that
that's
brings
it.
me into bar 68, and then I'm in on 75 or whatever.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, that was. And when you do get lost, you haven't idiot proofed it, then you start sweating. You're like, oh
Dude, the sheer panic is
my
insane.
God, I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
when
yeah.
to come in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But
Sometimes you can feel it, but if you get lucky, but
yes. Well,
the sheer
I
panic.
said to a friend of mine, it's like, I was on a show and I kept doing it. And I don't know why I hadn't written something in. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just an instrumental. But then I just started listening. And then when you start, like, I've played music for 30 years. I've been listening to it all my life. I kind of know where it is, even if I don't have to count. Like, I can feel like this is the
Yeah,
chorus,
yeah.
or this is the bridge, or this is the middle eight, or this is this section. And you just kind of hear it. It's just playing. Yeah, it doesn't.
And I think I'm guilty of
doesn't
that. When you've got a pad in front of you and you've got a click and you've got a track,
mm,
it's so regimented. I do catch myself sometimes to be like, you switch your ears off because you're just running on autopilot.
yeah,
Read, play, follow the click. That sometimes I do have to remind myself to just hold on, just sit back and just, you're playing this, but you're still playing with other people.
yeah,
Listen, react.
yeah.
Maybe the drummer's putting an accent somewhere different because he feels it today.
Mm,
Grab that, or like just sometimes I do catch myself. Even last night on the show, you focus, that the show like absolutely just flies by. And the next thing you know, it's like, whoa, what just happened?
yeah,
I just did a whole show and just like, you've gone autopilot. Take a minute, sit back, just listen, and it's just like, there we go.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
guilty.
It's playing music, and we've been doing it a while. But I'll go one more thing before I let you go. What's kind of either your best piece of advice that you give or you have given No? Or were given?
From a career perspective, there's a guy called Toby Drummond. I don't know if you know him. He's amazing. Drummer, does some West End stuff, was a lecturer at my uni. And I remember speaking to him as I was coming up to the end of uni, being like, I want to do this, I want to do that. These are my goals, these are my goals. I've been going to London jams. How do I compete with these musicians that have got years ahead of me? They have far more experience. How do I get these jobs? And he went, if you have the willpower and the ability to just stick it out and ride the wave
Mm-hmm.
through all of it, you will be successful.
Okay.
Because you'll have ups, you'll have downs in a career. You'll have people that over time, especially in like early to mid 20s, that give up.
Yeah.
They go, oh, this is too hard. I'm going to go get a normal job.
Mm-hmm.
And I might be an ass, but as soon as I like when someone says, same for me, I'm going to go get a normal job, especially if it's a guitar player, because I suddenly go, that's one less guitar player I got to compete with.
Yeah.
It's an asshole thing to say, you know what I mean? Because I would love for everybody to be able to do this.
Yeah.
I genuinely would. But the competitive side of me, as soon as someone goes, I'm gonna go back to the office job, I go, that's one less.
One less to go
That's
worry
one
about.
less we're fighting for that same job, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So as long as you can stick it out and keep going and keep showing your face, it'll get there.
Yeah.
And that has stayed with me forever, especially on the down times when the diary's quiet.
Yeah.
Stick it out.
Just
You'll be
hold
fine,
on.
stick it out.
Just hold on.
Yeah.
That was another thing I always wanted to ask people as well. Is like, when do you think people quit?
Hard one. Because there's so many factors, you know? I mean, I get it. If you've got no gigs and you got rent to pay, you got bills to pay, you got family, you got to do what you got to do. There's no shame in that. I know I just said like, oh great, yeah, one less competition.
Yeah.
But you have to take care of yourself. There's no shame in that at all.
Yeah.
So I get that's contradictory in me saying that, but you get what I'm getting.
I do. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think
even before that, even before, if let's say you're 13, 14, you're still at home, still at school, like at what point do people go, nah, this isn't for me? What do you think? What do you think breaks people? Musically, obviously.
either realizing that it's going to be a lot harder than they thought,
Yeah.
and then just not having a deep enough love for it.
Mm.
I think you have to be obsessive a little bit in any field to reach that professional level.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, obsessive at golf.
Yeah.
He had to be at his level.
Yeah.
And I think if someone's not got that obsessive love for something, they're not going to go the distance because they're going to go, I don't actually really want this. I don't really want to make those sacrifices. I don't want to miss my girlfriend or my mum's birthday to go do a gig.
Yeah.
How much sacrifice are they willing to endure for that dream?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not, they're not prepared to make that sacrifice. The reward's not enough for that sacrifice, so they'll give up. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I know a couple of people that used to play, really good players, really good bass player. And it was we were on the same kind of track like 20 years ago. And when gigs started coming in, he was just like, I don't want to give up my weekends. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm happy to. I'm happy to.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, I think, like realizing this isn't as easy as it looks. Like I remember learning Polly by Nirvana. And I think there was an E minor to D change. I just couldn't get the D change because all three fingers have now got to move. And I just remember spending like 3 hours playing E minor to D, E minor to D. It took the best part of 3 days. And I was like, okay, I got it. Fuck. When I got it, it was like, oh my God, this is all it takes. It's just
that's it.
19 hours, 4 days, and I can play it and I can do it or whatever.
But then once you got it, you've got it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's compounding returns.
Yeah.
And you've got to put a lot in up front to then get the reward at the back.
Yeah.
But I think anything that's worthwhile needs to be compounded.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think people are less likely to kind of, I know I said I was going to let you go, but that was a lie. Do you think
it's all good? Far away.
Do you think people are less likely to kind of persevere with that difficult stuff because, especially children or younger adults, because life today is so instant gratification? Things like Netflix and Amazon Prime, order it, it turns up tomorrow, and if it doesn't, it was like, where is it?
It's interesting.
Spending a week trying to play a B flat chord, like, or maybe it's always been like, maybe all kids are like, oh fuck that, it's too difficult. Even in the 60s, like, I'm not playing a B flat chord, fuck that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I would love to see if some psychologist has done a study on that.
Mm.
It'd be really interesting because I think you're right. Attention spans are shorter. I'm guilty of it myself for sitting in a scroll hole on TikTok. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
I think no matter what happens, the kids that want to do it will do it.
yeah,
You know, there's God knows how many stories of rags to riches, not even in music, but someone that grew up in extreme poverty and is now a multi-millionaire.
yeah,
Anything is possible, and I'm such a strong believer that if you want something, you can do it. If I wanted to be an astronaut
mm,
and suddenly do a career change, it's not impossible.
yeah,
I can go be an astronaut. I've just got to go put in that work.
yeah,
So no matter what, if you want something, do it. Don't half-ass it. Go for it. And the ones that really do want to then do it will cut through the noise of attention issues and TikTok and all that sort of stuff.
yeah, yeah. I think that's a great spot to end. Jamie, thank you so much for your time, man. It was lovely
Mate, thank you. It's
to
been
hook
fun.
up and chat. Yeah, and if I'm up the West End way, whereabouts are you based?
In London, Putney, sort of
Oh right.
southwest.
Oh, dude, I'm Sutton.
Dude, easy.
That's easy. That's easy. All right, we should hook something up.
Absolutely.
Cool. Listen, I'll let you get
Absolutely.
on with whatever you've got going on for the rest of the day. Have a great show
Mate, thank
tonight.
you for this. It's been fun.
No
Thank you.
problem. And we'll speak soon.
See you soon, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.